What's good, YouTube? We back for another video. I thought I would just do a little late night vlog. I guess today is New Year's Day, January 1st. But I just want to do a little vlog kind of segment. I think we should do segments called like discuss with me about maybe Coyote builds. So I want to do this video on how to make a Coyote Gen 3 with a 10R80 trans, get into the 10s. We'll start with 12s, 11, 10s, and 9s, and then 8s, maybe 8s, we'll see. So without further ado, let's start it. So we'll start with the 12s, right? If you take a 10R80 Gen 3, we're gonna do the base model, so basically what I have. Stock from factory, maybe with a good tire, you could probably get it into the low 12s, high 11s, just like that. Let's say you get a Toyota Proxy R888 or whatever. On the back, you should be able to get a high 11 as long as you can 60 foot good. It's usually taking off around 2,500 RPMs, maybe around there. You should be able to get into a high 11, if not a low 12. That's bone stock. So now we're gonna go into, if you want to get into the 11s, you know, Hellcat range, because our #1 goal as Mustang owners is to beat the Mopar boys, right? So Hellcat numbers in the quarter miles, usually around mid to low 11s for a Hellcat. So to do that, all you're gonna need really is just a cold air intake, which should be, in my opinion, in Matt 760 and Tricky and all that stuff, is a Tricky Performance tune, 91, and a P51 fender well intake, and that should be enough to get into the 11s. Also a sticky tire on the back. If you want to try to get mid 11s, I would say a drag pack, maybe even the seats out, and you should be about mid 11s or so. So yeah, you should be about mid 11s with that setup. But also what you can do if you want to try to get even into the low 11s is add headers or a cat delete. And again, we are still on a 91 tune. Honestly, if you want to get to the really low, like low 11s, like 11.3 and below, you definitely want to get on the E85. I think you should definitely be able to get into the mid 11s on 91 if you have, I would say, intake. It depends though, like on weight reduction, right? Let's say you still got a full interior, we'll just roll with that. So on mid 11s, you're gonna need intake, headers, and E85 in a drag pack to get like mid 11s to maybe 11.3. If you want to get lower than 11.3, you're going to want to get a ported manifold, Steeda Stop the Hop kit, Steeda drag springs, again, drag pack with skinnies, and a Mickey Thompson EQ Street R. You can get into the really low 11s, like 11.3 and below. Now, if you guys want to touch maybe the high 10s, which is where our goal is, right, to have a 10-second car, you're gonna want to definitely make sure you're running that ported manifold, intake by P51, headers, or even a cat delete. Dump your exhaust. Again, skinnies, drag wheels in the back, so full drag pack, right? Sticky tire in the back, seats out, so back seats out, passenger seat out, dumped exhaust, and preferably, if you want to get a lot of weight off, drag brakes like Bears or TBMs. With that setup, and assuming that you're launching it around 3,000 RPMs, you should get into the high 10s. Easy. All day long high 10s. And that's with a stock ported manifold. Now, if you want to get down to the mid 10s, this is where things can get pretty crazy, right? You're going to want to upgrade to that race ported or just a ported Cobra jet and a VMP monoblade 137. I know the guy out there, Alejandro Flores, the Lund Racing Tuner, whatever, says twin 69. That one's cool too. But if you want the best for a high RPM range, it's gonna be that monoblade every single time. It don't matter if you're NA or boosted, whatever. You're gonna want to go with the monoblade. That's the better throttle body. Not drivability wise, but it is definitely better for performance all the way around, right? So again, you're gonna want a P51 intake, VMP monoblade, ported Cobra jet, headers, dump pack, skinnies, bare brakes, all your seats out, Kirky driver's seat. Yes, Kirky driver's seat. That's gonna shed you about 70, 80 pounds right there, Kirky. And of course the 85 tune. Of course we're gonna go with Tricky. That I think he's one of the best NA tuners. Maybe PvP tuning too. It's up to you. They're both really great tuners. That's how you can get into the mid 10s. As long as you're launching again about 3,000 RPMs. I know we talk about, and Staying Mode talked about this. You can snap your axles. That is very, very common with a sticky tire, and you're launching about 3,000 and up. You're gonna snap them. So I would go upgrade to GT350 axles if you want to get to that mid 10s point for sure. Because again, once you snap the axles, you got to replace them. Might as well go 350, right? You can handle up to I think 1,000 or something, maybe even more, but definitely enough for NA. Now, if you want to get into the really low 10s, again, staying stock cams, right? Stock internals. Low 10s, nitrous. Simple nitrous. 75 shot to 100 shot could even get you into the 9s, actually. But we're not even there yet. So definitely we'll just stick with a 50 shot of nitrous. That will get you into the high 9s or super low 10s all day long, every single time, right? As long as you have a nitrous bottle. Now, a nitrous kit, you can run on a stock fuel system in a Mustang, especially if you're running a 50 shot. And you can get it from nitrous outlet for like anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. But it's worth the price because again, you can spray up to like 250 or something like that. Safe for Mustang is like 150 to 200 from what I heard from Tricky, which that can get you into definitely the low 9s, if not the high 8s, right there in a all day long. But if you want to get into the, let's see, we'll go into the 9s now, right? And we're just gonna blow to the low 9s. If you're running nitrous and cams, you should be, even at a 50 or 75 shot with cams, you should definitely be touching like the low, or I mean the high 8s or super low 9s all day long, consistent with that setup. And the cams that you want to run are stage 2 comp cams or the L&M Racing Engines cams, which is on their website. Those are really great too. Up to all preferences the same though. I think the lifts are a little bit different. But, you know, all day long will be pretty much simply that setup, right? With those cams, you should be able to touch high 8s, NA, with nitrous, of course. Now, if we take away nitrous with a cam setup, and let's say you're running a good suspension setup, also we'll add a Kilotrack suspension to that, shocks more specifically, and you're running cams, you should be able to get mid 9s all day long with that setup, with a 10 or 80. Actually, if you guys want to hit low 10s, right, like Void Bombero it was, you definitely want to upgrade to that Circle D torque converter. That's what's going to get you into the definite mid 9s to low 9s, and that's on a consistent level, because you will have no delay in taking off, and you'll be able to, like, it's a stall converter, so it's going to be right away off the line. Your 60-foot time is going to be probably like 1.3s every time, maybe 1.4s with that. So that's where you want to be if you want to run that time with no nitrous, 0. But if you want to get into the 8s NA, definitely all day long, you're going to want that nitrous. And I would say if you don't want to go cams, spray 75 to 100, and you should be able to hit the 8s. As long as you have a Circle D converter, you'll be able to hit 8s. No doubt in my mind that you'll be able to hit it. Again, you want to be on E85 or C85 if you're able to get it, if you have access to it, whatever. Definitely C85 will be greater than E85, but if you don't have the funds or whatever, E85 would be fine as well too with nitrous. You don't got to worry about that. There also is another thing, is Matt 760 has a horsepower additive or whatever it is on his website, which is uhpinnovation.com. Supposedly it's about 12 to 14 wheel when you do a 5-to-1 ratio mix. If you're running that NA on top of E85, you're gonna be running some good times. So he said up to 0.3 in the quarter mile is what you can expect to gain with that additive, considering you do it correct. So I would definitely look into that as well. I will link that in the description down below, but definitely look into that as well if you guys are really trying to run good times as well, because that could be a difference between an 11.3 and a 10.9, or a 10.3 and a 9.9. So definitely would look into it. It's only about $35, about 40 something after shipping or whatever, so it's not a bad deal at all. Definitely would do that. I'm going to be ordering one soon here and doing a dyno session with it to prove the gains that he talks about, and maybe a draggy as well to see if we can see that 0.3 or not. But yeah, without further ado, I mean, that's really how you can build a Gen 3 Coyote with a 10R80 trans. It's not a hard thing to do when you have a famous 10-speed to run them times, because again, there isn't much you really need. Like I said, if you're just intaking E85, you can expect to be in the mid 11s all day long, as long as you got a drag pack and your seats out, if you just want to keep it simple, to be real. And if you have cat delete, you could be mid 11s to like an 11.3 all day long, with again weight out and a full drag pack that's including skinnies, and dumping your exhaust if you want to keep it simple, right? Budget friendly, that is. So there's a lot of ways you can go with these cars, but definitely would recommend thinking about that stuff. But yeah, that's really all you would need. Now I say that with intake, cat delete, or headers, and a lot of weight reduction, as in, like I said, the seats out, and a full drag back, because that's how you can really get to run those times, like I said, anywhere from 11.5 to 11.3, because weight reduction in these cars goes a long way, especially in a base package, right? And if you dump your exhaust, that's another 80-pound weight savings or something like that, especially if you dump it from where the header connection pipes dump right there, not from your headers, but from where the mid pipes are, basically. If you can dump it from right there, you'll definitely, I mean, you'll lose some power, but you will lose over 100 pounds. So you kind of take your pick there, right? But of course, I would just get an X pipe and dump it out of that and call it a day for a dumped exhaust, right? That's similar to what I used to have and what I'm going to be doing again soon. So if you have that set up, that's how you run a budget, right? Mid to low 11s. And that is assuming that, again, you got a sticky tire and you know how to launch your car. You know, because Tricky do have a trans brake. So if you're using that trans brake to about 3,000, keep it at 3,000, nothing above, because you'll snap your axles. You should be able to do it all day long, consistently. And like I said, I mean, you know, take what I said with a grain of salt, right? Because again, you have to learn how to drive your car. You can have the best setup possible and still not run the time that you should, because you don't have enough seat time in your car. So once you learn how to launch your car, well, RPM is the sweet spot. Using, like I said, don't foot brake it when you're tuned by Tricky, because you do have a trans brake. When you use a trans brake, it cuts down your 60 foot like crazy, but that's how you get in the snapping your axles once you get to like Cobra jet level and stuff like that. So definitely want to do the 350 axles for sure if you're running a Cobra jet, especially if you're camped, if you're doing digs. If you're doing rolls, you really don't need to worry about that, but this video is basically based on track times. I have never personally taken it to the drag strip with the setup I have right now. I should definitely be in the 9s, but I just haven't had time, nor do I have the 350 axles, which I should be looking into soon, because I will definitely snap my axles, because I don't want to go to the track and only launch at 3,000 RPM when I know I can launch way higher than that, especially with the CJ setup that I have, and run a really good time. So when that happens is when I'll take it to the track. I'm going to be doing the dyno soon though, and do want to get some roll races, but it's hard to get them right now. Nobody just out, and it's winter time, so winter time is considered dead season for the car scene and for racing in general. You know, so that's also another thing. But let me know in the comments if you guys want more videos like this. I can do Gen 1, Gen 2, and I can even do boosted setups too, because I got pretty good knowledge on, you know, these Coyote platform setups. I also got good knowledge on the Hemi setups as well, because I'm a former Hemi owner. For those that don't know, you could go and see my old videos. I had a RT, it was full bolt on with a 392 cam, and it was on the E85 and 91 flex tune. Car ran really, really good, but nothing compared to obviously the Mustang. But if you guys want Hemi videos too, let me know. I can do a build series on that as well. This video is on how to build your 10R80, not manual, 10R80 Gen 3 car. I could do a series on a manual car too, because I know the manual is a little bit different, but it's not too much different in terms of what you have to upgrade. But just the difference is basically in the trans itself. But if you guys want more videos like this, let me know, and I can put them out for you guys. Definitely a fun video to make for sure. So not hard at all. So if you guys, like I said, let me know what you guys want to see. I'm gonna start doing more of these vlog videos. Not really a vlog, but a discussion video. Pretty much of just budget builds, which I can also do, because that's what mine started off as, and I went up into other things. So yeah, without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoy.